All right, here we go. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty. Brittany Griner is free at last. Before we get into this episode, just want to say rest in peace to all the fucking innocent men, women, and children of Ukraine who are about to be slaughtered by that fucking guns dealer, war merchant of death, whatever his fucking nickname is. All because Brittany Griner couldn't go a fucking day without her fucking THC pen. And with all that being said, welcome into episode 144 of the DAAAgenerates podcast. Bears aren't fucking losing this weekend. I'll fucking guarantee you that. We'll get into that in a fucking couple minutes of couple big, massive free agent signings in the MLB. Aaron Judge staying put in New York, a couple other big ones. The Padres, holy fuck. Where the Padres getting all this damn money? We'll talk about that. And then maybe a couple other things: wrestling, basketball, hockey, foosball, tennis, whatever the fuck you guys want to talk about. We'll wrap it up with that towards the end. But let's kick this thing off. Let me introduce you guys my co-host, Nicholas Johnston. You know him. How the fuck you doing on this beautiful Thursday afternoon?
Going pretty good. I just smacked a big one, so we're feeling all
Big
right.
fucking goober.
Yeah, feeling good after a little day of work, so we're feeling all right. Yeah, just excited. A little day later, but it's okay. We had some conflicting schedules and shit like that. I didn't want to. I was feeling tired, and I just want to put some good energy into this show, into this
Exactly.
episode.
Plus,
So
we
I don't
got
want
some
to
juicy
exactly.
shit to start off the episode.
Absolutely.
It's always crazy how the fucking universe ends up working.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you, we start recording yesterday, we hit the fucking end button, and fucking LeBron James gets assassinated or something like that. Who the fuck? That's just our
It
luck.
is very much our luck like that. Every time we either bring up something like, "Oh, that would be funny if that happened," and then something like that ends up happening, or just like exactly a big breaking story like this, Brittany Griner being released,
Yeah.
getting fleeced in this trade like we are. I love that they're like, can someone make this in NFL terms? They're like, this makes the Russell Wilson trade look really good. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. Okay. I mean, we'll bring it back. Of course, it's nonsensical to sit there and be like, oh, imprison her forever for a THC pen. Of course, it's gonna the responsibility of this whole thing comes down on her shoulders. But wow, well, how bad could terrible. I mean, what's his nickname?
The Merchant of Death, Victor Bout.
Exactly. I mean, it sounds
responsible
like
for for what they say tens of thousands of lives throughout Europe over
sounds
the
like a
years.
Cannibal
Yeah.
Corpse album. Like that's a nickname that somebody has, and we're like, okay,
Merchant of Death. That'd be a great like third track on the album.
absolutely, like just something hardcore to just grind. I mean, it's just when you, like I said, when we look at it in terms of paper, we got a double person, 14 and 10 every other day in the WNBA, and then like I said, you're killing 14,000 and 10,000 every other these people. So it's terrible. It's a terrible looking trade. Like I said, it's understandable to get her out of there, to get Brittany Griner out and free and safe over here, but geez Louise, we got definitely fleeced on the trade. So not a good look. Not exciting at all. We've been talking about this from time. We were like talking at like it was a joke, but I guess it was just working on it slowly but surely. And they did it. They did it. They made the move. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not jumping for joy of it. It's good that she's back and whatnot, but I don't
Yeah,
know. It
no,
doesn't sound good on paper.
we definitely like to poke at it and make jokes. And you guys, if you haven't caught on over the last year and a half our senses of dark humor, then you're probably listening to the wrong podcast. But obviously, we don't want her, fuck, like Nick said, we don't want her sitting over there forever because of some fucking weed or THC, whatever it
Yeah.
was. But yeah, the responsibility was solely on her. Um, but to fucking release this war criminal and this arms dealer for a basketball player just shows that this country absolutely has its priorities ass backwards right now, and
Are we
it's just.
negotiating with terrorists now? Is this what we're
I guess
doing?
we are. That's exactly what we're negotiating with terrorists for the lives of terrorists.
Unbelievable.
While there's while there's a Marine sitting over in a Russian prison too that we couldn't have gotten him
Okay,
out of
okay.
this.
I
Come
mean,
on.
if it's the same one that everyone's harping about, I mean, like to be fair, like you probably just heard about it the other day on Twitter, just like everybody else did. So if that's gonna be your hardcore stance,
No, no, that's
yeah,
not. No, that's not. But
okay,
we could have at least thrown him in to at least even up this fucking deal a little bit. I know,
okay,
I
fair
know,
enough.
I
Throw him
know
in
he
there
was
too.
exactly.
Okay,
He's like the
fair enough.
minor league prospect or the future considerations. Like I
There we
know
go.
he was charged with espionage and he did some fucked up shit, but at the end of the day, he's an American and he was a service member. And like I said, he could have been that cast consideration player to be named later to at least maybe try and balance out this trade a little bit.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
again, that's just fucking around, being dumbass, making jokes. But
Yeah.
I feel bad for the people that are going to be affected by this. By the Yeah, we already know and we don't talk about it here. We're not a political podcast at all, but we all know over the last year the bullshit that's been going on in Ukraine with Russia, and it's still going on. It's escalating every day. Ukraine or Russia, gets a guy like this back. It's like I don't, what's a sports comparison? It's like you're going into the fucking playoff run. If you're, let's just say you're the Vikings and you haven't had Justin Jefferson all year and you're about to go to the playoffs and Justin Jefferson's fucking healthy. Like the Russians are getting this big, massive fucking asset. And,
It would be like if Greg
is
Popovich and the Spurs were getting what Phil Jackson, the Bulls, the former Bulls head coach. He's just like,
oh,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna be an assistant head coach for you now. It's just like, oh, okay, we're just gonna have two of the best basketball minds just sitting there on the sideline for this
Yeah,
team.
no.
I
So I
guess
mean,
that's maybe hopefully
if
that's a good way of putting it. I don't know, maybe.
if Brittany Griner and the people involved in our government involved in this decision can sleep with the fact that, uh, I mean, and more innocent lives are going to be taken at the hands of this Victor Bout guy all over a basketball player. If they can, I mean, they're already evil people. We know it doesn't matter who you vote for, left, right, red, blue. They're all fucking pieces of shit. They're all criminals. They sleep like a fucking baby. They'll fucking fly a fucking I'm not even gonna say it. Fuck you. They're all pieces of shit. That's what the bottom line is. And
Yeah.
if they're gonna be able to sleep with themselves knowing that the blood of innocent fucking people all throughout the world, and it's especially right now in Ukraine, it's gonna be on their hands, and it's all because of Brittany Griner not being able to lay off her fucking THC pen for a couple days there. So I hope she's able to live with that too. And uh, that's really, I just, like I said, I feel bad for the innocent people that are going to be affected by this guy's release, really.
Yeah, honestly, it's like I said, bad look on paper when you sit down and look at the trade, but we can get a little brighter, get a little nicer, a little over here, like we usually do. We talk the sports, we talk some football. I know we don't have no Bears to talk about. No, we don't usually talk to Bears. It sounds a little unsafe. But I mean, yeah, we can go over maybe our best week 14 matchups and any plays you got set up ready to roll. And then of course I know we got all the MLB talk that happened. I mean, unless you want to flip flop, whatever you feel like doing first, we can talk all the MLB shit that happened first. I actually
Oh
have a
yeah, let's do that. I guess that's a different way to, start off the episode. We usually
I
start
got
off with
I got
Bears
that
or
as
football.
well, or we can go through our thoughts on we kind of finished the episode on talking about Deion Sanders getting the head coaching job. I kind of maybe want to mention uh maybe a name we brought up before. Do you know about Balmonty Jones? Do you know of him? You remember
No.
watch any? He used to be on like Around the Horn all the time. He used to be on geez, the Dan Lebitard is highly questionable. He was the third mic on that show. Are you again? Is that ringing a bell or not? No.
No, no, I
Oh,
can't
no,
picture it. No.
fair enough. Because he also has an ESPN Plus show that the ratings were so low it couldn't register on their little list. So I don't know how it is. Like I forgot what the show is. Belmonte is like thinking or something stupid. I just want to bring him up just because I thought he had a freezing cold take on this Deion Sanders thing, bringing up the fact that like I think the quote was something I saw was you brought the dream and now you're leaving the dream or something like that. Just brings basically bringing up the fact that he started something there and now he's just saying goodbye. He's wrapping it up. He's just gonna leave like just for greener pastures. And I just wanted to bring up the fact that like that was always the game plan for Deion Sanders. I mean, everyone saw that like it was just going to be coaching, and whenever the better opportunity was set to be there, he was probably going to go on to a better opportunity. So like he did there. So to sit there and say like, oh, you created this dream, you made all this hope, and now you're just leaving everyone hanging high and dry. That's absolute bullshit. Because I don't know if you know or that any of the listeners know, like he's a part of his new contract. He's going to be donating it back to Jackson State for all their new equipment, making the campus better, all the fun stuff like that. So he's going to basically being what a donor, a donator, something, a supporter, whatever the word is for that. He's he's still going to be contributing that way. He's not like I said. He's still got a game to finish. He's going to go probably win this championship right here. So to sit there, it just sounds so selfish to make it sound like Deion Sanders is just out for himself. Like everyone knew that, everyone there knew that, and for him to go to Jackson State is better than him to just try and like he put them on the map. He put that whole sort of college ball it on there for people to watch and pay attention to. Created basically this whole buzz about the the portal and made that a viable little college for people to play at. So, like I said, for Bomani Jones to sit there and think like that, to think that it's so selfish for Deion Sanders to go to Colorado University. Fuck him. That's just so stupid. It's just such a bad
Yeah, and I
take.
mean, just like the players, these coaches are competitors too, and they want to win, and they want to do it at the highest level possible. And it's not to knock, Jackson State or all the other HBCUs out there, but they don't fucking compare on the level of a Pac-12 school like Colorado or an SEC school or a Big Ten school. Like he completed what he needed to complete there.
He was able to
He
put
did
them
it
on TV one
exactly.
time. I mean, he did everything for them. And I mean, it was
Exactly. He
all
turned
love when
that
he left too. It was just I
exactly.
don't
And I
know.
guarantee you he has a contingency plan in place. He has people that are going to replace him that have the same vision as him, that have the same goals as him, that are going to continue what he started there. So that's just the guy that Deion Sanders is and always has been. He's just the ultimate competitor in football. He was in baseball and now post career as a coach. So he wants to go out there and say, okay, I did it at this level. I'm going to go up and do it at the next level. And maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now, if he turns around Colorado and they turn into a blossoming successful program after what 1-11 this year, it could only go fucking up. So maybe down the line we'll see him coaching I don't know, a top 25 school or a big SEC team or who the fuck knows. But it all goes back to the point that just like the players, these coaches are the competitors too, and there's different levels to it. He already mastered that bottom level. His entry job, he went in and he turned it the fuck around, and now he's on to the next stage in his career, just like anyone else. It doesn't matter if you're a football coach, it doesn't matter if you're a fry cook, it doesn't matter if you're a mechanic. You don't want to stay at the bottom level your entire fucking life. There's
Yeah.
promotions in whatever job you do, and this is a promotion for Deion Sanders. So
Well, yeah.
whoever the fucking stupid, I don't even know. I honestly never even heard of the fucking guy you were talking about, but I
Balmani
guess there's a
Jones. Yeah.
reason. Amani Jones. I guess there's a reason why you have the lowest fucking ratings on your show right now, because you just say dumb shit like that. But no, good for Deion Sanders, good for Colorado, good for the fans of Colorado, good for the players that are there and the players that he's going to bring in. It's just all positive, everything that guy is doing. Plus, I like watching him on the Barstool because he's a funny dude. He's a relatable guy. I'm not a huge fan of the whole Barstool scene, but anything that he's really involved in, I pay attention because that dude knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's just an idea. Like in terms of recruiting, again, like it was even if it was down there in Jackson State, that probably convinced a couple people to just go from like, I'm not gonna be benched on a D1 team and only go over here and actually play or something. And now you actually, being a Pac-12 coach, gonna go in there and do some recruiting. And he's gonna flip some minds. He's gonna turn some heads and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I want Deion Sanders as my
Now
coach, 110%.
I did hear one thing that I sort of did agree with, and it was the Michigan State basketball coach, Tom Izzo, I believe his name is. He said he's all for the transfer portal and the opportunity that it gives players. But at the same time, like kids aren't going to learn to fail doing that, like you're just going to be thrown into the best opportunity and you're going to win and you're going to succeed. And sometimes learning how to fail, having to sit that 1 year as a backup or getting benched and having someone taking your job, that sometimes for certain players, not all players, but for certain players, no matter what sport, could be better for you in terms of learning than just, oh, I'm going to quit and go somewhere where I'm going to start immediately, where everyone's going to kiss my ass and rub my back, and yeah, I'm just going to be the superstar.
I
So
mean, probably for every kid like that, there's probably a guy like Rashard White who I didn't know what school he went to, didn't know
yeah,
it wasn't
yeah,
on the it wasn't on any sort of radar whatsoever, making his way through the transfer portal, finally gets on it's like South Carolina, like I don't even remember, but like Arizona State,
exactly. No, and then
something like that.
it's from a player to player basis, and the
Exactly.
one
No, it's
it
that I can
definitely is, because
for
there's some people out there
every.
that they need to fail before they succeed,
No,
and I guess it's
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
No, for every kid that there's like, oh, I'm getting screwed over because I just need to be able to play and I need to be able to show any sort of opportunity to get out there. And if
yeah,
I get into the
yeah.
transfer portal, I can do that. For every opportunity there's like that, I'm sure there's like, oh, if I would have just waited, it would have been the same exact thing or better if I just would have waited. So I can agree with that too. I
Yeah, I
get
feel
that.
like I mean, I don't know a whole lot about college football. I like watching the
No,
big
I mean this
games and
transfer
the ranked
portal is
games.
is brand spanking new. I mean
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's changing the game as of right now. I mean like a bunch of players that we would have no idea about is are actually coming up and people that are like, oh my god, this guy was atrocious over here at Kansas State and now he's over at BYU and he's tearing it apart. Like it's just shit like that. We wouldn't know because the transfer portal didn't exist up until now.
yeah. I feel like what's the name of the quarterback from Clemson, DJ Uiagalelei or whatever his name is,
Exactly, something like
had
that.
a terrible year at Clemson right now, and then he goes into the 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 transfer portal, and he's going to go somewhere else and get an opportunity. It could be a good thing for him because they said that even though he's younger. He's got all the talent. He's got all the arm talent in the world. He's a quick guy. Maybe just playing at Clemson wasn't the best thing for him. Just like playing at Ohio State wasn't the best thing for Joe Burrow, or playing at wherever Cam Newton went before Auburn wasn't the right choice for him. So getting guys like DJ, I don't fucking know, Uiagalelei, maybe get him a fresh
Uiagalelei or
start. Ooh,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
I don't.
terrible.
We say Uiagalelei. I don't even know if there's an N in that last word, but there is for us. Like I said, fresh start, maybe not the worst thing ever for for players like that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So I guess to sum it up, Bomani Jones, bad take on Deion
Yeah.
Sanders. Yeah. With that being said, we can flip over to some. Yeah, we'll switch it up, do some MLB talk because that seems to be a little bit hotter. Like I said, no Bears talk right now, so we'll just maybe get into thoughts on some games, a couple of plays along the lines, and then I only see one little MMA story that we got to. TJ Dillashaw ended up retiring. So I don't know if you had anything on that. If you wanted to do something like that later, sure enough.
Yeah,
But
we can talk about that later on to
yeah,
wrap up the
yeah,
episode.
yeah. No, but you got some new Cubs acquisitions. So I feel like Yosh, fire away. How do you feel about these two new guys?
Yeah, I'm not absolutely blown away. I like the Jamison Tyone deal. We go out, get ourselves a guy who's going to be there every fifth day. He has some experience in the NL Central. He was drafted and came up with the Pittsburgh Pirates, so he'll yeah, yeah, the little experience there already playing in the Central never hurts. I like it. He had his best season of his career last year with the Giants, with the New York Yankees. I think he went 15 or 16-4 with a 3.9 ERA. Good numbers. He's not going to come out. He's not going to blow anybody away. Yeah, no one really gives two fucks about wins anymore. But to see that the record's always a good thing. Obviously, getting a shit ton of run support with the Yankees over there in that little league stadium going to help inflate that a little bit. But his walk rate has steadily gone down. I know earlier in his career, he struggled with walks. He's a high velocity guy, high strikeout, high walk guy. Um, his walks have steadily been going down. It's still a little up there. It's still a little higher than league average, but it has been going down year to year. The strikeout numbers are still there. And the big thing is he's been healthy earlier in his career. I don't know if you guys listen and knew this, but he actually was diagnosed with testicular cancer, and people thought he might never play baseball again.
Yikes.
Had to sit out for a little bit. He was all cleared of the cancer, came back, played with the Buccaneers, the Pirates. People call them the Bucks. Got a nice contract with the Yankees, succeeded there, and now he's here on the North Side. So he'll be a great guy to stick in the middle of that rotation. Probably I don't know. Alongside, maybe we get a healthy Kyle Hendricks. Marcus Stroman might be at the top of that. Justin Steele, Keegan Thompson. So I'm thinking he'll be a good 3 or 4 guy, middle of the rotation guy. He's just the innings eater. He's going to go out there. He's going to do what he has to do, and every team needs a guy like that. So I like that move. Not the worst move ever. And then the other one, Cody Bellinger. A lot of people up on it, a lot of people down on it. On a 1 year deal, I have no problem with this move. Now, if this was multiple years, 3, 4, 5 years, I know he's 27 years old. If this was a multiple year deal, I would have fucking flipped my lid because he hasn't done shit the last 2 years with the Dodgers. He has battled some injuries in 2019 and 2020, didn't play full seasons there. But 2021 played a full season. Amazing defense. I will give him that. He can play any outfield position. He can play first base. He has one of the best arms in the outfield as an outfielder. So defensively, we're going to get a lot out of this guy. But offensively, his game has declined over the last 3 years. He is a rookie of the year with the Dodgers. He has won a league MVP, but like I said, over the last 2.5, I'll just round up and say 3 years, he hasn't been that player. So um, I compare this a lot to Chris Bryant. I really do. Chris Bryant coming up with the Cubs, killed it, won Rookie of the Year, wins an MVP, goes on to win a World Series, and then a couple injuries really derailed his career. Gets traded, gets the big signing with the Rockies in this offseason and can't even play a full season with them. Thanks a lot. I bet over 20 and a half home runs. I think he only hit like 3 on the fucking year or something like that. So that's where I sort of draw the comparison. The talent is there. The talent is there. There's a great baseball player somewhere inside of Cody Bellinger. And maybe on this 1 year deal, it's just to prove it. I know it's $17.5 million. I don't really give a shit about the dollar amount. It's low risk, high reward. It really is. It's a prove it deal. Scott Boras is this guy's agent, and I think it's a perfect move for Cody Bellinger, just given the struggles that he's had the last 2.5 years. Get to another big market team, maybe not a contending team right away. I know Cubs fans, including I got high hopes. We got some great players, but even going into this year, maybe not contending right away. This might be a perfect situation for Cody Bellinger at 27 years old. This is it. This is a prove it deal for him. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show what I got, or I'm going to fucking shit the bed and, be another Chris Bryant, unfortunately. So, low risk, high reward, 1 year deal on a former league MVP. I'm all for it. So I don't know where he's going to play. I'm guessing he's going to play first base for us just because Morel, Happ, and Seiya Suzuki are pretty much locked into the outfield. Even though Bellinger's a Gold Glove center fielder, he's played amazing first base, defensively in his life too. So I like the move. I like the move on a 1 year deal.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Where do you think he was gonna go? Make sense with, like you said, with the guys that you just said are out there, and you got some young infielders that are going to be trying to make their
Yeah,
way.
and you
Get a
know
lot
what?
of
The Cubs have even over the years they've done a good job of getting guys, I'm not going to say consistent playing times, but making sure everybody gets their playing time.
Yeah, and David
Ian
Ross is
Happ,
pretty good with that. Yeah.
yeah, Ian Happ, even though he's just won the Gold Glove in left field, he can play second base. He's played second base plenty of times in his career. Christopher Morel this year played third, short, and second base at different times, so he's very versatile. And then even Seiya Suzuki, he hasn't done it in his MLB career, but over before he came to the MLB in Korea, or not Korea, in Japan, he played third base most of his career. So I guess there's a little versatility there, even though I don't want to move him out of right fielder. He's been absolutely
He's
amazing in
been
right
highlight,
field.
yeah, a little
So
bit of a highlight machine out
exactly.
there. So
Yeah.
it's been
So
nice.
there is versatility between Bellinger, Morel, and Ian Happ for those three positions. And like you said, like everybody knows, David Ross does a great job of getting everybody playing time at different positions, even going back to Joe Madden and having guys like Addison Russell, who can play second, he can play short, he can play third, having Ben Zobrist, he played the corner outfield, he played second base a lot. Albert Almora he played every position in the outfield for the Cubs. They always have these versatility guys, or they always have these guys with great versatility that can play multiple positions, and that's always a positive. So Bellinger, that's a huge thing. He can play any outfield and he can play first base, which I mean, no more Frank Schwindel. I don't imagine what's his name? Patrick Wisdom's going to be playing any first base anytime soon. So bring in Cody Bellinger. He stays healthy. He's going to play 150 games at first base for the Cubs this year. And
That
I
could
mean,
make sense.
that's going to be huge for him on a prove it 1 year deal, like I said.
Yeah, and any lingering injury or if he needs a rest, there's always a DH spot to fill.
Yeah.
I can have a couple at bats throughout the day. Hey, I mean, these aren't the worst moves. I mean, like I said, I mean the Sox are sitting on their hands, so I can't sit here and bitch and moan and complain. I think you got this exactly right. It's a prove a deal for Bellinger. Not there not there for a long time. He's there for a good time. So hopefully maybe puts down a little smoking pipe,
Yeah, you said
picks
you
up the
said that
bat.
perfect.
Yeah, puts up.
I seen this one fucking meme, dude. The internet stays undefeated. Someone fucking took a picture of him and he was like rolling up the ivy into a fucking joint. They're like, no, Cody, you can't smoke the
No,
ivy.
Cody,
Uh,
no.
uh,
What? What?
what? You
What?
can't smoke the ivy, Cody. But hey,
No.
I like it. Low risk, high reward. 1 year deal. If this would have been anything more than a 1 year deal, I would have been pretty fucking pissed off. But
Yeah.
it sounds like the reports even before he signed with us, that like I said, Scott Boras was his fucking agent. Scott Boras could probably get me a couple $1 million in the MLB. I don't know how that dude does it. He's a wizard, but I'm guaranteed he just has blackmail on. He's like
Ah.
the fucking Redskins owner. He's just got blackmail on every front office, and they're like, give my clients 17.5 million, or I'm gonna fucking release the documents, and they do it. So like I said, 1 year deal. I'll never complain about a 1 year deal for anybody because
Yeah.
like I said, the Cubs aren't going to be fucking. I don't know unless they go out and make a couple more massive moves. I don't see the Cubs contending this season anyway. So 1 year prove it deal. Uh, no problem with it.
Yeah. And even with the Taillon move, I feel the same way. It's almost like you're not getting anything too crazy. You're getting like you said, a solid arm that's going to be there every 5 days that you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
almost, somewhat rely on for a good start, to get like at least 4 or 5 and maybe 6 out of them if need be. And then just probably the numbers might go. I think they're going to go down a little bit. I think him being in the AL East, and definitely inflates it considering the Rays, the Yankees, the Red Sox for the first half of the season, and then why can't I think of the other? The Orioles actually not all too bad. They just tear each other apart every time they play. So I think with opponents like the Reds and
like the Reds, the fucking Brewers.
yeah,
They're not the best. I mean, we'll talk
they're just
about it in
not
a
as
minute. But
good
the
as the
fucking
AL East.
Cardinals, on the other hand,
Yeah.
holy shit, dude, they're
Yes.
they're gonna be a fucking scary team to deal with. But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. And again, playing at Wrigley Field, depending on which way the wind's blowing, it might be the most hitter friendly park in the league or the most pitcher friendly park in the league. So I
Yes.
guess
Yeah.
it just depends on the day over there.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, without further ado, we had a couple other moves. You kind of already alluded to it, so yeah, we could talk about Wilson Contreras going to St. Louis. I mean, I don't. People are going to argue that it's probably Aaron Judge going back to the Yankees is most likely the biggest free agent re-sign signing or whatever you want to do. So I mean, I do dealer's choice. Who do you want to talk about
Yeah,
him?
just while we're on the topic of talking the Cubs, talking Chicago, I'll talk Wilson Contreras real quick.
Yeah,
Sort of, I don't, obviously nobody wanted him to go, wanted him to stay, but there's over the last year, there's been some tension between Wilson Contreras and the front office of this Cubs team. I That's what I truly believe because the money that he got from the Cardinals, the Cubs could have easily forked up. Now, it could be like a Roquan Smith situation, like they have Jack Sanborn waiting. Maybe they thought even before the trade, Jack Sanborn could easily fill his shoes, which he has been for the Bears. We do have Miguel Amaya, who has he didn't play a whole lot last year down in the minors with an injury, but he's 26 years old. At one point, he was a top 100 prospect. He isn't anymore because he fell out with that injury. But maybe the Cubs are like, okay, it's time to pass the reins over to this new guy and see what we have in him. Maybe they really believe in Miguel Amaya. But I also truly believe that as much as Wilson loved playing here, he loved the fans. You saw how emotional he was. During the final homestand of the year, he gets a standing ovation. Even right before the trade deadline, where everyone thought he was gone, they gave him a standing ovation. The final home game before the deadline, we've seen the videos of him, hugging teammates, crying in the dugout. He truly loved being here and he loved the fans, but I don't think he loved the front office. There was that little talk a year and a half ago about an extension, and the Cubs shut that down. And then after that, there was the whole arbitration thing, and I think it was over like $2 million. Like $2 million is nothing to the fucking Chicago Cubs. It's nothing to any sports franchise. So to go to arbitration and drag that whole proceeding out throughout the 2022 season, over $2 million for your superstar catcher who helped win you a fucking World Series. If I'm Wilson Contreras, that's gonna put a sour taste in my fucking mouth too. So um it sucks to see him go to the Cardinals, but it's also a great thing because we're going to see him 16 times a year. I'll always love Wilson. I'll appreciate everything he did for this team. He's one of my favorite players. Bought the fucking jersey for him last year, hoping we were going to resign him. That didn't fucking work. But yeah, he gets what, 5 years, $87.5 million with the Cardinals, just already adding to Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado. No, what's not Paul DeYoung? What's the other outfield? Brendan Donovan, the fucking second baseman. They got some studs over there on that team. So to go from Yadier Molina to Wilson Contreras, it's an improvement. As much as you want to say, Yadi's a great player, he's a Hall of Famer. He wasn't in the fucking prime of his career, so that team just got even better right there. So that's truly what I believe. There was something going on between Wilson and the front office of the Cubs where he was sort of just soured out and he didn't want to deal with them and he didn't want to be here. And rightfully so, because to sort of not give this guy an extension when he wanted it and then to fuck him over for with arbitration over like $2 million or something like that, that would piss me off if I was that player too. So uh we knew he was going to go somewhere, and this was it was pretty much going to be the Cardinals or the Mets were the two teams everyone was talking about. And yeah, 5 years, 87 mil, rightfully deserved for the 30-year-old catcher. I'm gonna miss Wilson, man. He was always one of my favorites. I always said him, and even going back to when we were talking about the deadline before Rizzo, Bryant, and Baez went, I said, let's keep Rizzo and let's keep Contreras just because I feel like they were the heart and soul of that World Series team and the teams, preceding that. And I don't know. What's the point of keeping a guy like Wilson Contreras at the trade deadline if you're not going to re-sign him? I really don't understand that. The Cubs weren't contending. They weren't going to win shit. Uh, Go out and trade the guy and at least get something back for him. He didn't have a no trade clause. He didn't have anything like that in his contract. Just to let a player the caliber of Wilson Contreras just walk and get absolutely nothing for it. Bad look for the front office.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of sitting here, kind of not to just like, oh, I got to make it about the White Sox or whatever the fuck, but just kind of in the similar realm. I'm like, hey, maybe like a Jose Abreu type deal where there was maybe a negotiation, just couldn't see eye to eye a little bit too much, and then just wasn't able to make a deal. And then, like I said, that the little arbitration story again kind of sounds something similar to what
It's something
Lucas
so
Giolito.
little and so yeah, it's something so little and so
I
stupid that
think
it's
I
like,
think Lucas Giolito's was only over like 700K. Like it
yeah, it
was
was
only
less
just
than
something.
$1 million. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
it was just ridiculously low, and it's just I'm sure it's just maybe the straw that broke the camel's back type deal, and then yeah, you move on to like you said 5 years, 86. I mean, I think Justin Verlander got two for 84. It's just something like that, or or two for 86 or whatever. It's just like oh my goodness, like you could have basically yeah, it's just could have got the same exact deal here, but
Yeah.
I can understand if you
Hey,
just want to
I'm gonna
wipe your hands clean from it too. Yeah.
yeah, as much as none of us Cubs fans like to root for the Cardinals, just like you and Abreu on the Astros, I'll always be rooting for fucking Wilson, even though he is on the fucking the fucking rival, the St. Louis Cardinals. Whenever he comes back to Chicago, gonna have to go to one of those games and see Wilson play again. That'll be special.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one, we can kind of just fire away at these. Yeah, I just Judge going back to New York. I think the big one was I think the Padres got offered a big one about around or excuse me, San Francisco were offered him almost 400 million. He declined. He went with 360 from New York to stay there for 9 years, I suppose.
Yeah, 9 years.
So yeah, he'll be up there, up in his 40s by the time that comes to an end. But I mean, he got his money, he got the bag. Good on them. The Yankees would have been worse if they didn't sign him. I don't think they got necessarily any better. They definitely just signing Judge that again that helps. It maintains their status. It just doesn't fill any holes or any problems that
Yeah.
they had over the season and why they were ultimately swept by the Astros. So again, good on them. If they would have just got it done in the beginning of the year, they would have had a much easier, cheaper deal. But they good on Aaron Judge for believing in himself. So I like again feel like it was a good move for Judge. Good on him to get paid. The little fan in me would just like, hey, go somewhere else just to make it more exciting. But just it's fine. You go to the Yankees and waste your career. It's just I love those comments. Just as like all that just to get swept in the ALCS or something like that. It's just like, oh yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense. So yeah, any thoughts on Aaron Judge?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it was just sort of a stagnant move. Like they didn't get any better, they didn't get any worse with this deal. Um, it's we've seen these deals a lot though. We saw it with Miguel Cabrera, we saw it with Albert Pujols. You hit your 30, you're 30 years old, you get a nice 8, 9, 10 year contract. The last 2 or 3 years of this contract, I think are going to be rough. I really do. These contracts, these 9 year contracts that take guys into their late 30s, never work out. They're never worth what you're paying. So they're going to get, he's 30. He's a big guy and he's already dealt with some injuries. I know he had an amazing one of the record setting year this year, but this was one of the only years in his career he played a full healthy season. So you better pray you get that going forward. He's 6'7", 285 fucking pounds. Obviously, we don't. He's fucking massive. Um, it's just we'll see if he can stay healthy with that big body and that big frame of his, and just the violent swings that he takes at that ball. Not to mention he's an amazing outfielder, diving around, climbing up walls, running into the walls. That is going to take a fucking toll on that big stature and that big body of his. So 9 years, way too fucking much, but that's what you're gonna get. You have to do that for some of these fucking players. And I almost compare it to, okay, we're gonna get, or not compare it, but this is the way I look at these big deals for these big power hitters like that. We're gonna give you 9 years. You're only gonna produce for 6. You're getting 40 million a year, but that 120 for the 40 40 40 on the last 3 years where you're not really going to do anything is just sort of added on for the first 6 years, if that makes sense. So he's
Yeah,
not really
it's like
getting
back pay.
exactly. It really is. It's like back pay. So um Yeah, 39 years old when this contract's going to be over. I saw this stat the other day that absolutely blew my mind, and I want to see if you can guess who it is. In the history of Major League Baseball, there has only been one player over 270 pounds to hit a home run after the age of 37. Do you know who that is?
Oh
One
man,
player
one
over
player.
37 years old to hit a home run over 270 pounds.
Uh,
And Judge weighs 282, 285 or something like that right
I
now.
I don't know. Willie Stargell. I don't know.
Nope, not
Was he
Willie
that big?
Stargell.
Go for it. I don't
You
know.
wanted you this is gonna blow your mind. It blew my mind when I read it.
Is he better?
Bartolo Colon.
Oh my god.
Bartolo Colon is the only player in Major League history over 270 pounds to hit a home run after 37.
Oh,
So,
that's fantastic.
uh, yeah, maybe somewhere down the line, Aaron Judge tries to slim down, loses some weight, maybe changes his playing style because just the way he plays right now is not going to live out this 9 year contract. But I mean, hey, good for him. He made the
Yeah, lose
fucking
a little
bag.
weight, take
300.
a little pressure off the knees. That's what you always got to do.
Exactly. Just it's natural. A big body like that, you're not going to last long,
Yeah.
especially the way he plays. So, but hey, good for him. He got the 9 years. He's going to stay in that little league ballpark and hit 50, at least 40 home runs a year, I think, for the next 5, 6 years. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see the back, as they say, the back nine in golf, the back three of this contract, the back 2, 3 years. It'll sort of just be like Pujols the last couple of years, just sort of being a DH, playing every other day. Yeah, these big
Lingering around,
contracts.
shooting the shit with the boys, stuff
Exactly.
like
These big
that.
contracts never work out, but at least, for the first 2/3 of that contract, they're going to get, I expect if he stays healthy, he's going to live up to that 40 million dollars a year he's going to be getting.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I got a couple more left on in terms of just some MLB movement. I think one of the bigger ones of the three has to be Xander Bogaerts is going to San Diego. Yeah, just actually, open up the San Diego's just opening up the fucking the checkbook, letting it fly. They now have Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts with this, and Fernando Tatis Jr. Maybe a little battle for that infield, but I think Fernando Tatis is probably going to go out to the outfield when and if he's available, when he's not flying around and falling off of his motorcycle. So this was a phenomenal move. I think Xander Bogaerts is very underrated. I think he just
Yeah, very.
doesn't get the like, hey, look at him, just because he was on a very underperforming Boston Red Sox team. He was very much the focal point when he was brought up during the World Series runs in 2015 and 2017 and stuff like that. So phenomenal move, good on him. Gonna get paid. I don't remember. It's a long period of time if I'm not
11 years,
mistaken.
$280 million,
Whew,
25 and a half mil a year.
whew, that's a big one. That is a big
Yeah.
one. So yeah, I like I said, that's a good move. That team just gets even better. Like we keep talking about this, that, and the other. I think San Diego's ready to play. They're firing and they're ready to go. If they could maybe solidify their bullpen or something like that, maybe make that the main focal point. But I don't know. Their offense seems to be ready to go, ready to click. And another
Yeah.
season for Juan Soto to be there. I think that makes it even better. So
Yeah, and Xander Bogaerts throughout his entire career with the Red Sox, he's been a hitting machine.
I
That
think he's
dude
only
can hit
what
anything.
24, 25 years old. He's like my age. Like
I'm
it's
not
fucking
I'm not exactly sure how old he is right now,
yeah.
but
He's incredibly young.
yeah,
I don't
so
know the
he's
number off the top of my head. So
yeah, he's been a hitting machine his entire career. You could pitch that dude a fucking golf ball and he'll put the bat on it. And
yeah, probably.
no, Jay, that dude hits everything. He hits for power. He's gonna bat 300 for you every year. His defense is average, I will say that. So at the shortstop position, him Tatis, it'll definitely I'll lean more towards Xander over there, but his defense hasn't been the greatest throughout his career, but he definitely makes up for it with what he does offensively. So the Padres are all in. They're going for it. Nando, stay off the fucking juice. They make the move for Josh Hader late in the year last year, which is a huge move. They lose Mike Clevenger to the Sox, but they still got a great,
Oh,
they extended
whoop-de-doo.
exactly. They still got you, Darvish. They extended Joe Musgrove last year. They got a fucking all-star team over there now, and they need it to can maybe not. Losing Trey Turner, that Dodgers team's still gonna be good, but um I'd say talent wise, I'm gonna have to give the edge to the Padres now when it comes to those two rosters in the NL West.
Yeah, I mean they got
After this move, this is a big one.
yeah, they might have whatever Freddie not
Freddie
fucking
Freeman.
Freddie Freeman over there, and they got an aging almost 40-year-old Clayton Kershaw. That's your big move as of late for the Dodgers. Yeah, I mean that's not going to keep you in the competitive realm. I know they still got competitive guys. I know the Will Smith over there. He's not smacking Chris Rock over there. He's
Yeah,
actually a pretty
they
pretty
still got
good
Mookie
catcher over
Betts.
there.
Mookie Betts has been a great
Yes.
player throughout
Yes,
his
I mean
career
he's
too.
borderline at always going to be MVP caliber, ready to
Yeah,
go for that. So I'm sure they're still going to keep it competitive and everything. And I mean their pitching rotation is nice and young and ready to go too. So I feel like they just guys like Tyler Anderson and stuff like that, they fell off and they run onto IR and people just stepped up and went into there. And there's just no problem for these guys. So they got a good farm system in terms of I think their
yeah,
pitching wise over there. So good on them. Last two, I'll just blow through them really quick, just because I don't really have anything opinion wise on it. Just seems like it's good moves for them. Kenley Jansen to the Red Sox. Again, just maybe a lateral move doesn't really make the Red Sox any much better. The Kenley Jansen hasn't been that great ever since his days on the Braves. So I don't. Like I said, that doesn't really matter. And Jose Quintana adding to that Mets rotation. Uh, Again, I don't think that he had a pretty solid season. He was able to get traded and actually able to have somewhat of some light in the playoffs.
yeah, yeah.
Going from the Pirates to the Cardinals. So good on him to actually get recognized, get paid a little bit, and be on a team that well, they might blow it towards the end and might fall off, but they're going to play in some competitive ball games and might actually have a chance of getting into the playoffs. So good for him. I like to see former
Yeah, good
White
to
Sox and
see.
Jose Quintana
Yeah,
get there.
former
So
White Sox, everybody loves Jose Quintana. You can't not like
yeah,
Jose Quintana. He goes out there, he keeps his mouth shut. He's gonna pitch 6, 7 innings for you every fucking day. You got to respect a guy like that.
Jose
So
Quintana, he was always the guy in the Sox. While he would go out there pitch gems, and he was. I mean, I can't compare him to Jacob DeGrom, but he would have Jacob DeGrom esque starts where he would lose games, but they would be 1-0, two to
yeah,
nothing, just games where the White Sox offense just could not hit any. Just they would finish with 2-3 hits on the game. It was just nothing that Quintana did wrong. It was just the White Sox offense could not produce for him at that particular time, at that particular day. So his record and ERA suffered for it. So it's just loved him over there. That's why he was, somewhat successful basically everywhere else that he went to. So again, I'm just glad that he recognized and got paid. So I like that.
yeah,
Uh,
good for him. 2 years, 23 mil. Or 26 mil. That's a nice little deal. 13 a year for Jose Quintana on the Mets.
yeah, just a hard hat
That's
lunch
good to
pail
see.
type guy. Just
Exactly. He's that guy where it's like, oh, Tommy fell down the stairs and twisted his ankle. Jose, can you pitch today? Yep.
yeah.
Oh, hey, we need someone to go put down a sack bunt. Jose, can you do it? Yep. Oh, fuck, the light bulbs went out. Can we get someone on this fucking 40-foot ladder to change these light bulbs? Jose. Yep.
He's already halfway up the
He's that
ladder.
guy. He's already got the ladder out. So he's everywhere he's gone, he's been that dude. You gotta love Jose Quintana. Even, going out, I think after the Cubs got rid of him, he went and had a little stint with the Angels. He even did well
Yeah,
there. So I
yeah.
mean, no matter where this guy goes, he's just the model of consistency for starting pitchers. I know this was I watched a video maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and they were talking about the most average player in the not the NFL, in the MLB, just compared to stats, like stat lines. Who is the most consistent, the most average player in the MLB? And it was Jose Quintana. It was through pitching, all the fucking they broke down all these stats. I forgot who it was offensively. Um, Fuck,
Probably a
I
guy
don't
like
remember who
Matt
the
Carpenter or something like that.
it was one of those guys like that. But the most consistent, the most average pitcher was Jose Quintana, and it's just you always root for
Just like
guys
some,
like
yeah,
that.
probably just like some guy on the Rays, like Brett Lowe or something like that.
Who was it? Brandon Phillips maybe
There you go.
on the
Yeah.
Rids. I think that might have been who it was Brandon Phillips. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's good for Quintana, and he's going to be over there, hopefully contending with that Mets team still. So
Yeah.
good for him. Maybe we'll see him. He's that guy who just, I think, he fucking flips a switch come playoff time, and it's like, oh, Jose Quintana's on the mound, and you might overlook him, but you don't want to
Oh,
overlook him
he's
because, like
calm,
you
cool,
said,
and collective. He's
exactly, he
he's
can
he's
go
very
out
much
there
in
and
that.
he can shut down at the best of best lineups any fucking given day of the week.
Yeah, no, he was very
Yeah.
reliable arm. Yeah, if you're good on MLB movement, moves, news, notes, I don't think there was anything while we were recording right now. So if we are good on that,
No,
we
I
can
think,
get
yeah, there were a
preview.
couple other smaller moves. I think we mentioned most of them. Mitch Haniger to the Giants, decent move there. Josh Bell to Cleveland. Andrew
You
Heaney
said,
to
yeah, that was
Texas.
the one that you were saying. Yeah, Andrew Haney. You had just said you were at least going to get another batter, another arm or something like that. And sure enough,
Yeah, and he had a
they get
decent year
him.
with the decent year with the Dodgers last year. So they go out give him $25 million. I think what's his name? Edwin Diaz staying with the Mets. We pretty much
Yeah,
mentioned all these moves
I
over
think
here.
so. I think so. Yeah. So if you're good on that, we can maybe preview a couple of football games that we're looking forward to on the docket.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, awesome possum. I know, like I said, we're recording on a Thursday night today, so maybe I'll pop it out a little early enough so you can get your points bet, get your free bet code SYS9 for today. They'll do it every Thursday, they do it every Monday, and then they'll do a live bet on Sunday. You can go ahead and do that again. Code SYS9, help yourself out, go get some free bets. Uh, yeah, like you can go follow our the fantasy show that I put out yesterday, and we put together our parlay that it hit last week. We're looking to continue the streak, make one turn into two. So go ahead and follow that. Off the top of my head, if I can remember, we went with the Bengals because I think that's going to be definitely a bounce back after getting embarrassed on Halloween night. Bengals. Oh my goodness. I know we went with the Bucks over the 49ers. We're thinking Brady over Purdy. That was my mind. That was my mindset right there. We went with the Seahawks over the Panthers, the Chiefs over the Broncos, and the Eagles over the Giants. So all
Ooh.
that was 5 legs parlay together. I believe is right around 829. And then with the daily boost, right around 919 was what would be the final outcome for plus 919 with your odds right there. So like I said, go ahead, hop in there, get your daily boost. You get everything with PointsBet. It's a lot of fun over there. I know you already went ahead and put together a little parlay earlier today. I think you went over on uh Adams
We went
receiving and Josh
over
Jacobs
on
to get a
Adam. Yeah.
touchdown.
Yep.
So you can probably add a boost to that and get a nice little thing, nice little extra money out of that. All fun stuff over on PointsBet. But yeah, no, just getting the games in general. Maybe
And
some.
that one chick's always around with her tits hanging out. Who doesn't love tits?
Yeah, if
Oh,
you give them a follow, and they're honestly, they're sometimes a little cringy on Twitter with their memes, but they bounce back with some other good ones. So I mean,
man, they almost
it's a
fucking killed Drew Brees. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. Rest in peace, Drew Brees. You would have thought on Monday night that the Saints would have had a little bit of moxie, but no, the Tom Brady and the Buccaneers went ahead and finished it out. That was an exciting one. That was the game
Yeah,
that
that
actually
was.
decided our parlay. That was the one that got the big winner out of it. So that was fun.
Oh, you
Uh,
didn't cash out? You let it
no,
ride?
yeah, no, we let it ride. I
Perfect.
didn't hedge. I didn't
And
do
it looked
nothing.
bad for most of
Oh
that
yeah,
game. You're
no, I was
probably
kicking
kicking yourself.
myself.
You're like, motherfucker.
I didn't. Yeah, I had that. I also had it was a boost for either one of the receivers, Evans or Godwin, to get a touchdown. And I was like, oh, I was so excited. They took the lead with the Godwin touchdown. Holding fat fuck number 79. I was like, son of a bitch, son of a. And then sure enough, two or three plays later, just a dump off to Rashard White for the win. I'm like, I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
take the dub. I'll take the parlay win. I
Were
don't
you
care.
watching that game live?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they
absolutely.
had this stat. It was Donovan Smith, that left tackle. He's the most penalized offensive
Oh my
lineman in the
god.
league throughout the last 5 years. And they showed that stat. It was like 2 plays before that touchdown that got called back. He had another holding call, and they showed the stat where he was the most penalized offensive lineman, and then they scored a touchdown. holding offense number 75. And it was just so, I was like, they jinxed it. They jinxed the kickers with the fucking field goals. They jinxed Donovan Smith by bringing up that stat.
Yeah, obvious. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, no, just looking at the rest of these games through week 14. I think like I said this maybe 2 weeks ago on paper. Nothing's jumping out too exciting to me. Maybe nothing, maybe except for the Sunday night game. But I'll flip over the Jets and the Bills. Bills, I believe, were the losers the last time. The Jets just able to squeak one out. The Josh Allen looked pretty bad, turn it over left and right. I think similar to this Bengals Browns game, it's going to be completely flip the script. I think Josh Allen's going to take care of it handily, do the right things. He's just not going to turn the ball over. Hopefully, able to connect to Stephon Diggs and maybe Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox and whoever else. I think they're, like I said, maybe the Bengals, or excuse me, maybe the Bills not get the spread. I think they're at 10-point favorites
Yeah, I
right
think
now. I
10
think the
points.
Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jets are good enough. The defense is good enough to cover that. And then you go ahead and you mentioned Mike White, who isn't terrible. So I mean, as long as if the it's again, it also kind of relies on if the Bills defense shows up and gives you the first 3-4 weeks of the season, Bills defense, instead of the later, the last couple of weeks where anyone can just run on them, no problem. So, maybe if Michael Carter's good to go, he can have a big day. A guy like Bam Knight does, Zidanian White, it's so terrible. Bam Knight. Uh, Maybe they have a nice little tandem and go back and forth. But I think the Bills get this one. The Jets probably cover the 10 and the plus 10 or whatever. But I think the Bills they're going to need to get this one to maintain their AFC top of the AFC. What do you think on this game?
Yeah, the Jets defense has been amazing so far this year, and it's gonna be a great test going up against what a lot of people think is the best offense in the league when they're fully clicking. I know the last couple weeks, they've been in some tight ones, almost lost to the Lions, only put up 24 points on the Bills. Yeah, and then a couple weeks back, I think a month ago, losing to the Vikings. But yeah, I definitely like the plus 10 here. Especially we get the bad news that Von Miller ain't going to be coming back. He's got the torn ACL, so he'll miss the rest of the season. This Jets team, that run game and that defense has been there all year. It's been consistent, and then the emergence of, like you said, Mike White the last couple weeks, he's been. I think he's got like over 700 yards combined over his last two games. So he's been really throwing that thing around. Um, the matchup I'm looking forward to is just Wilson versus Tre'Davious White, though. That's going to be fun to see. See if Garrett Wilson, he's been having an amazing year. Obviously, I like him. I think he's probably one of my favorite, if not my top rookie offensively in the league right now. Um, he's shown week in and week out he can do special things, and now we're gonna see going up against the Tre'Davious White and an amazing Bills defense if he can keep that up. So I like the plus 10 as well there for the Jets.
Yeah, no, like I said, very important. Like on that one, you might have to pay attention to maybe the weather, just because it is Buffalo and it is December time. So maybe get a little snowy, get a little weather, get maybe a little rain or wind and whatever. So be mindful of that if you're betting on that game. If you're good on that, we can flip over to maybe the Vikings and the Lions. I know maybe you were one that immediately brought up the line to me. You were said, "Hey, Detroit Lions are the favorite right away." I was a little surprised, so maybe can you convince me to maybe for sure say it's the Lions? I think maybe everyone's just a little too heavy on the button to say, "Hey, it's gonna be the Lions. It's gonna be the Lions." I don't know if I don't know what Vegas is doing. I don't know what the public is doing. I didn't look into that, so maybe like I said, maybe you can just convince me one way or the other.
Yeah, it looks like 55% of the public right now is on Minnesota, but Detroit is 2-point favorites at home. Over unders 51 and a half, so they're expecting a high scoring game. And I can honestly see it. Both of these defenses have been pretty bad this year. And both offenses passing games have looked amazing. Jared Goff and Amon-Ra, DJ Chark, getting Josh Reynolds involved a little bit. They that offense. I know starting off the year they looked amazing. They hit a little rough patch there, but over the last 2 weeks, that I almost said Bills. that I'd say ever since the Bills game, that Detroit offense through the air has looked really good. So I think they'll be able to move the ball no problem. I think it'll just come down to maybe whoever has the ball at the end and whoever can manage turnovers the best will probably win this game. So if you're one of these quarterbacks, you go out there, throw an interception or two, or lose a fumble, that could probably put the that could be the dagger right there. That could be the end of the game. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll come down to one of those things. Whoever has the ball last or whoever commits the last turnover
Yeah,
is gonna win this fucking game.
at the very least, I think I might take the over. I think Justin Jefferson and Amon St. Brown are just poised to have ginormous fantasy
Yeah.
games. So good luck if you guys. I mean, I'm sure I think you got Jefferson on your
I
team.
got
But
both of them. In
oh
one
fuck,
in one of the in Amonra in my main league, it doesn't matter. I'm out. I'm just playing for pride right now. But in the family league, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be rooting for fucking Jetta all day. You see
yeah.
the custom thigh pads that he had with the jet
No,
on it? He
no, I
had
did
the custom
not.
thigh pads with like a F-18 jet, and in the middle of the jet it said JJ in it, which was pretty fucking sick.
That's pretty solid. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, no, I mean, that might have to come down to a last second decision. I know they're in the dome, so I know Jared Goff likes to play and actually do pretty well. Uh, DeAndre Swift, for the first time in a long time, is actually healthy, so maybe looking at that. Dalvin Cook actually had a bounce back game, a little bit better than usual. I think he actually scored last week. So, uh, while the record says otherwise, they're basically almost the same exact squad. I mean, they're you got, like I said, Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins mirrored each other. Justin Jefferson, Amon St. Brown mirroring each other. Again, I would say maybe the combination of Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift can probably be the equivalent of Dalvin Cook, but again, I think this is almost one of the same. Two high scoring offenses, two defenses that are just very lackadaisical. I think like I said, I maybe convinced myself into the over,
Yeah.
but
Well, with all this
not
being
into
said, bet the under now because we know how the NFL works. It's
yeah,
gonna be like a 10 to
absolutely.
7 game.
Yeah.
Ignore everything we just said. Bet the fucking under. No one
all that
scoring a
pat yeah, all
touchdown.
that
It's gonna be
passion that I
nine to
just had in
six.
that,
It's gonna be
just
9 to 6. Only
kick it to the
field
side.
goals.
Kick it all to the side. Michael
Alternate
Badgley, baby.
under. Alternate under 20 and a half.
Oh, there,
What's the
absolutely.
line on that? You talk. I'm gonna fucking look that up.
You said the line on the Vikings and the
The
Lions
alternate
game.
under 20 and a half. I'm gonna
Oh
look
my
that up.
god. Oh, that I don't
What are
even know
the
if you're
odds on it?
like 30 points difference. That's gonna be like
I'm
plus
finding it.
10,000. Oh, I mean plus the thousands. Yeah. Either way, I'll flip over to I think, yeah, one other exciting game I think is on the docket in terms of. I mean, there's definitely room to surprise me and stuff like that. So I'll just go with one that's probably for sure. I'll go with the Dolphins and the Chargers Sunday night. I think this one got switched. I think they
Yeah,
yeah
that's the
it
one
was
that got
supposed to be
flexed.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was supposed to be Chiefs Broncos, but yeah, I'm just happy we don't have to see the Broncos for probably the seventh time on prime time.
Oh
So
yeah, they're gonna
so
be flexing all their games from here on
I
out.
I really hope so. I'm glad that happened. So good for that. And I think the other game that they flexed was Patriots and Panthers or something like another terrible game that was supposed to happen. So
All right,
uh
so I got the under here.
all
The
right.
lowest total that you can bet on, and this isn't on points bet. Sorry, points bet. This is on FanDuel. Under 22 and a half is plus 5,500.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna put $1 on it. Why not? It's a
Well, I
dollar.
mean,
What the
why
fuck am I
not?
gonna do with $1? Stick a
Why
dollar in
not?
your ass.
Dollar yes, kid. Yeah, no, so Dolphins Chargers. Again, could be fun. Two high scoring offenses, two defenses that don't really do all too much. Mike Williams coming back for or having a full participation in practice for the Chargers. Keenan Allen looking like he's getting better and getting up to speed with the offense. I think he scored these past 2 weeks. Uh, Still Austin Eckler looking fine and dandy. As long as Justin Herbert can, keep them in the game. A lot of people been dogging on him and hating on him for this, that, and the other. But I think it does come down to some of their defensive play. I know Derwin James and the boys, they've been keeping them in some of the games. I kind of give them their due on that Kansas City game. I think they kept them in that game for most of the time. But tough break loose into the Raiders, who are so they're kind of the definition of a wild card. They can be just so violently bad and be shut out against the Saints, or they could like they just did bounce back and have a big one up against the Chargers and have one where Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams just go off. So this is gonna be exciting. Dolphins, Chargers. We'll see Tua and the boys, Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle. I don't know if Waddle's going to be all too healthy, but if that's going to be a tough challenge for the Chargers. And like I just said, all the offensive weapons can also just do just as much damage on the defensive side, on the defensive defense that just hasn't shown up, even with getting Bradley Chubb integrated into the defense. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm not really too sure on the number. 44, actually 51 and a half. So another expected to be another high scoring affair right here. For the sake of just going with overs, I'll take the over on this one as well. What are you thinking on this game?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this game. I know they're 6-6, but in my mind, the Chargers are still a great football team. Like I just look at that team and I'm just like, how is this team not one of the best teams in AFC right now? And a lot of inconsistent play. And we even seen it last week, like you said, against the Raiders. A little inconsistency on that offense. That offense struggled for the Dolphins. So um in terms of betting, I don't know if I'm going to touch anything in this game just because both of these teams have been a little iffy as of late. But I will say this: um, if the Chargers come out and can establish their run game against the Dolphins, who the Dolphins, their defense hasn't been great this year, and their run game has been especially bad. I know both teams. You look at the quarterbacks, you look at the weapons they got. Everyone wants to, throw the ball around 200, 300 yards, passing for each quarterback. I think the way to win is going to be running the ball in this game. I really do. Take advantage of that run defense for the Dolphins. And if the Chargers can do that and feed Eckler 20, 25 times, and it might be an ugly game. It might be a low scoring game, maybe like a 2017 game or like that, something like that. I think the Chargers can pull this one out at home. Other than that, I don't know. It depends what Dolphins team comes to play. Is this going
That's
to be the
true.
Dolphins we saw last week, or is it going to be the Dolphins that can put up 45 points on you like fucking nothing? So, um, if it's not that Dolphins team that can put 45 on you, I think the Chargers win this close one. Like I said, 2017, 2019, something like that. But if not, if that fucking high powered offense and Tua come to play with, like you said, Tyreek and a banged up Waddle, it could be a long day for the Chargers. So I really have no idea what to make on this game.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to, to rely on the run game for the Dolphins. Kind of weird stat line. I think Mostert only had 7 attempts getting 30 yards, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Jeff Wilson Jr. only had 1 attempt getting 3 yards. But very tough going up against the San Francisco, the 49ers defense, who has the best rushing defense in the league. Uh, you would expect a little bit more. I can kind of agree with you on that. I mean, maybe rely on the run game, and I'm sure the Chargers can integrate both. Not only just Eckler, they got Joshua Kelly back, and that Isaiah splitter, or whatever. They'll probably just be mostly Eckler, I hope, just for the sake of fantasy. And I think that'll be fine. Uh, I think but it also could just come down to overall quarterback play. And as of late, you kind of would have to just give the leg up to Tua. He's been
Yeah.
very accurate. He has the weapons to keep him accurate. So this might be. I wish the line was maybe a little bit closer for Miami. I don't love the 3 points. I could definitely see it happening, but that might be a push. Maybe have to alt it to 2.5 just to get the win out of it, or maybe just go down to, I don't know, 1 point or something like that. I don't know. At that point, might as well just take the money line. Uh, yeah, I'm like kind of flip back to these games. I don't know. I wish the Bucks and the 49ers were a little bit better. Like I said, if Brock Purdy wasn't in there, that'd probably be a little bit more exciting. Again, divisional matchup, Eagles Giants. I would wish it would be a little bit more exciting, but I just don't think the Giants have enough to keep up with this Eagles team.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
Very similar with the Jags and Titans. While it has chances of being exciting or just being close, I think Derrick Henry's just going to run all over this team. I don't think Travis Etienne is all that healthy right now. And I think there's been rumors that Trevor Lawrence might not be all ready to go either. He just went down with a foot injury last game. So keep an eye on that. And just be weary of this 17-point line for the Cowboys. I mean, everyone's like, hammer it. It's a big number. It's a team that sucks. I mean, not very often do you see numbers like this in the NFL, and not very often do they end up covering. So just like I said, be mindful. 1-800-GAMBLER, bet responsibly, stuff like that. So don't be hammering this one too hard. Oddly enough, it's like it's stats like this, like Houston gives up very few, passing numbers and passing touchdowns. It's simply just because teams just run the absolute fuck out of the ball on Houston. They run it down their throat, and I'm sure Tony Pollard and Zeke are just salivating right now, chomping at the bit, ready to get the ball, and they're probably going to get the ball 30 times each. I mean, it's going to be 60 run plays with the occasional probably dump off to Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott, who are just going to probably have monster games today or on Sunday.
I know. I'm starting both of them this week. I've been
I mean,
flipping
that's
back
fine.
and forth
I think
depending on the matchup, and I'm actually going with both of them this
that's
week.
probably good. That's probably in a lot of people's, like, when the experts, they sit there and say, "Oh, start sit." They're probably in everyone's start sit. They're probably in everyone's love category for their love hate list this week. So that's good. That's a good move. I don't care. I don't care right there.
Yeah, I
I don't
can't
care
trust
what you say
Cortland
right
Sutton
there.
anymore. He got that injury last week.
He's doubtful. I don't think he's even going to play
Yeah,
this
I know.
week.
Yeah, exactly. So I got to fill that second flex spot, and we're gonna go with fucking Zeke. I feel like they've both given they both. I mean, over the last month, both of them have been playing amazing football. Even though they've been splitting time.
Yeah.
They're both been playing great and producing fantasy wise. So I can go with both of them.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
One other fucking game we got to
Sure.
mention. It might be the ugliest fucking game of the week.
Steelers
Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steelers Ravens. No Lamar. Rivalry fucking game. Kenny throw a picket versus Brad Huntley or Brett Huntley, whatever his name is. The over under is 36.5.
Oh, I'll
This
take
is
it.
gonna be
That's the alt under. I'll take an under 20.
yeah.
I'll take under 15 in that
This is
game. That
gonna
might
be
be a
an
9-3 game.
Yeah, this
Ugh.
is gonna be an old school run the fucking ball. The game's gonna be over in an hour and 45 minutes.
I think Dobbins
There's gonna
might
be
be back. It might be
there's
like
gonna be a
Dobbins,
lot of
Gus
turnovers, a
Edwards,
lot of
and
big
Kenyon
hits.
Drake. Oh
Yeah,
man, it's gonna be
someone's gonna get
ugly.
fucking stabbed in the stand in the stands, not on the field. Someone's
Okay.
gonna get fucking stabbed. We're gonna see on the Barstool Twitter fans fighting in the stands and outside of the stadium. This is like Bears Packers. Ravens Steelers fucking hate each other, and this is gonna
Yeah.
be an ugly game between two. I know the Ravens are 8-4, but without Lamar Jackson, that's a bad football team. So, um, yeah, it's just gonna be a fucking ugly one. We're not gonna see anything on red zone out of that game.
I don't
Don't
think
think
so.
unless
Not at
I
all.
think I'm gonna call it right now. I'm gonna call it right now. We're gonna get a blocked punt for a touchdown in that game.
Oh,
Blocked punt. That's just the vibes I get off this game
I
right
like
now.
that. I
Blocked
like
punt
that.
for a touchdown. I don't know which team. If I'm trying to
Don't just
fucking
leave it there. Just leave
envision
it
it,
at
but
that.
yeah, I'm not
That's
gonna.
that.
I'm just
Leave your
gonna leave it
hands up
there.
so you can
Yeah.
say you were right either way. I like that. That's just a pure, yeah. That's the disgusting game of the week for sure. That was pretty much it for me on week 14 NFL
Yeah, me
wise this
too.
week.
Really.
We got the Bears on the bye. I wish we could talk a little bit draft this week. I just unfortunately didn't really prepare anything.
Yeah, no, we could save
Um,
that too. I mean, even for the
yeah,
off
I
season,
mean,
there's
yeah,
plenty of
absolutely.
time.
There's gonna be so much time in between for that stuff. So stuff like that. Not really any other news and notes like that for the NFL. If you were good, I kind of just I don't know. We could just wrap this up with the TJ Dillashaw retiree. If you had anything, any little parting ways on that. Otherwise, we can just probably get on out of here after that one. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I don't, these fucking UFC wrestlers, like I tell myself I'm going on a diet. I mean, it's just every fucking other day. I'm retired, I'm unretired, I'm back, I'm done. I think this is my inside fucking scoop, not inside scoop, but this is my personal opinion.
Okay.
Going into the last fight, Dillashaw admitted that he was, suffering from that shoulder injury. He said he dislocated it upwards of 40 times through his training camp, and then it dislocated a handful of times during that fight. And he couldn't move it. He couldn't block. He couldn't throw a punch. He couldn't do anything with that arm. He couldn't fucking wipe his ass. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I think TJ Dillashaw, he's retiring for now. I don't see him being done forever. I think this is just his scumbag way of getting out of the UFC, getting out of the USADA pool. So over the next year and a half, he can just crank some more steroids into his body, get healthy 100%. And then 2 years from now, we'll see TJ Dillashaw fighting for Bellator or bare knuckle or one championship or hell, maybe even back in the UFC. But he's way too good. I know he's up in his 30s, but he's still in his prime as a fighter, even though he's been, he's dealing with that major shoulder surgery. I still think he still has plenty of fight left in him. So maybe this is just his way of getting healthy, taking some time off. Maybe getting around the USADA fucking steroid pool, drug testing pool, and I think we'll see him back at some point. It'll be a while because that shoulder injury, he said, he'll be out. He'll be out upwards of a year with that thing. So I always liked watching him fight. He's an entertaining guy. Sort of a little cocky fucking little asshole at times, but
Yeah, he was on the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was always entertaining seeing him and what's his name? Or him and Cody Garbrandt going at it because I know they were best friends turned bitter enemies. They sort of went at it, had that little scuffle on the Ultimate Fighter. So always like watching TJ fight. He's one of the best of all time at his weight classes at those smaller 145, 155 weight classes. So I don't think this is going to be the end for him. I never believe a UFC fighter when they say they're retired because the only one I'll ever believe is Khabib because he's a stand up fucking strict fucking Muslim guy. All these other guys when they say they're retired, that doesn't mean shit. They're coming back, and I truly think this isn't the end of TJ Dillashaw. Just knowing him and the competitive spirit that he is and just the competitor that he is, he's not going to go out on a fucking loss like that. I think he'll get healthy and he'll be back somewhere down the line.
his ego won't let him go out on a loss.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
shame. I mean, that
That's
just
just the
opens
type of
up.
dude
Yeah,
they are, though. That's
yeah, I know. But that just always up. Of course, going in one more time, that just always opened up the opportunity for just one good click of one good hit, and you're just that could be it. It could be a big difference. So it's I guess for the meantime, for TJ Dillashaw fans, I mean, again, if you're feeling the same similar idea to Bill, I guess hold on to that little hope that he'll be back soon or something like that. I got really nothing on that. I had no opinion on him whatsoever with this, that, or the other. I probably couldn't. I think I recognize him. I don't remember. He's the littler guy, the blonde hair, right? Blonde
yeah. I
crew
take
cut.
shits bigger than that guy.
Yes. I was like when JJ Watt was chirping shit with somebody and he runs into a running back. He's like, "Hey, burrito's bigger than you."
Oh yeah, who was
I
that? That
think he was
was
talking to Ray Rice. I think.
yeah, it was Ray Rice. Yeah, it was.
Oh shit. Yeah, just stuff like that. Either way, yeah, if you're good on that, if you're gonna be good on everything else, maybe we had wrestling. Either way, I don't really give a fuck. Yeah, I'm running a little late on time, running a little close to some stuff. So yeah, this is probably a good way to end episode 144. Like I said, like the usual, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, checking us out, liking, subscribing, thumbing it up, commenting. It always helps out. Points bet code SYS9. That's always the go-to. Make sure you're 21 and over. Make sure that you're in the right states, and make sure you're don't have a gambling problem. 1-800-GAMBLER. Alan, take those notes. Even when you're out in Germany, Guten Tag, there, boy. Go make sure you're taking those notes.
Oh,
And
look at that. Future Bear Will Anderson from the University of Alabama just won the Bronco Nagurski Award, former Bear Defensive Player of the Year in college football. Here we go. It's a
nice.
fucking match made in heaven.
Sick, sick. And then thank you to Troy, as always. Thank you to all of us for listening. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Yeah, until next time, we'll be back with some updates on when getting ready for the Bears to actually
Oh,
play and
dude,
stuff like that. So
I'm
yeah.
scrolling right now. Taylor Heineke got a +1 overall bump in Madden. He is now a 69 overall.
Oh, come on. He's got to be higher than
I
that. That's
love it.
ridiculous. All
I
righty.
love it.
Good way
No,
to
leave
end
him
it.
right at 69.
There you go.
Boost his
Sweet.
fucking offensive stats, but make every other stat 0 just so it stays at 69. That's what you
There
got
you
to do.
go. Perfect way. Either way, take care, guys. Until next time, we'll see ya.